Welcome to the Traditional Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkovic. I want to take a second here and we're going to talk a little bit about stand maintenance. As you can see, I got sticks and stands everywhere. It's what I've been doing for the last day and a half here. It's just been updating things, making sure stuff is good, getting it ready for the hunting season. These are my two stands that I mainly use. This little guy, this little lone wolf's with me pretty much on every one of my out-of-state hunts and my far-in hunts. My closer in, anything that's under under 500, 600, 700 yards, I usually will bring this bigger stand with me. So these are two I use mostly. This one here, I just got completely done setting this lone wolf up. That's the one that my kids will use when they hunt with me. So when we go out, we got to hang two stands. I hang that one for them too. So this is my main setup here that I use as far as everything goes. But a couple things we want to do on here maintenance-wise. Cables. Let's talk about cables for a second. If you are leaving your stand in the woods all season long, like you put them up, you don't take them down, I recommend replacing cables at least within every 2 years. Maybe more, depends on where you live. But I wouldn't go more than 2 years without replacing the cables just for safety's sake. They can rust on the inside of here. The rust will start at the bottoms right down in here where the connection points are, and it'll creep in there, it'll creep in and it'll start rusting out. So if you're leaving stands out all season, every 2 years, replace the cables. I take mine down. They don't spend more than maybe 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 6 nights a year in the woods because I'm taking them in and out with me mostly. So I usually will stretch mine out. I checked them at 3 years, they were good. I checked them at 4 years, they're good. I usually wait about 5 years, and still at 5 years, they're still pretty perfect. So these two stands, both being 5 years old now, I had just replaced those. Even though this one's painted, I just painted these stands. But this is brand new cables on here. This is brand new cables on here. The cables were not in bad shape. One of them, I actually was checking it. I don't know which one it was. I was cutting and checking the ends to see. Yeah, right here, I cut into this. I basically took my knife and cut this open, and as you can see in here on the inside, even after 5 years, that cable is still really good. I don't have any rust or anything like that or anything to worry about in there, but it's a good safety precaution. 5 years in on these stands, and it was time, and they're not expensive. I think it costs you about 20 bucks, 25 bucks to order the new cables, the new bolt systems up here for your setup, the lock washers, the whole deal. So basically, you can rebuild this whole lone wolf stand cable-wise and that hardware stuff for about 25 bucks. So it's worth it. So I spent 50 bucks to replace both of these. This stand is only 3 years old. I'm not doing it on this one yet. I'll wait until it's time to. But you want to check your Versa buttons. You want to check your bolting. Make sure it's good. Check all your washers on there. Check your washers at your bases. Check your washers on your tops. Check your straps. This is a brand new strap that I have on this stand, and this is a brand new strap that I put on this stand down here. The old strap right here was getting to a point where you're starting to get a lot of fraying in there. You're starting to get a lot of edge fray and a lot of problems on there. This was actually one of the better ones on here too, but you can see right there starting to get frayed out pretty bad, and I don't want to put my kids in a stand like that. You can see all the dimples and divots in there and where it's stressed out at on here, wherever you are right there. So I don't want to put them in this. This is a 5-year-old strap. Time for a new one. The straps aren't expensive. They're like 10 or 12 bucks or something. So I put a new So I put new straps on both of these too. The ones on that one, still good, no wear, no sign of anything on there, so I'm leaving it on there. But go through and make sure that this stuff is all good. On these lone wolf stands, eventually, if these seats stop, this Velcro that holds these seats on up here, there's Velcro here, 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 and here. If it gets to a point where this starts to not stick very well anymore, what I do, this one I haven't, but I'm going to now. Now it's finally getting to that point where this Velcro doesn't stick on here very well anymore. You got to fight with it. So this one here is about to get glued. I got to still work this stand here. It's all I did to it was paint it and double check it. Now I got stuff to do to it. But this one, both of these, what I do is I just use some Gorilla Glue and I actually glue those down and glue them closed. That way your sheet stays on. They don't come off or give you any fits. Another neat little thing with your leftover straps, if you replace them early enough, like this is the one that was really pretty good that I took off of that stand that was not bad. What I did is I basically turned it into a strap extension. Okay, I took the buckle off of the end of it, which was on here, took the buckle off the end of it, and I basically just tied a good knot in there. That'll be actually doubled up and sealed, but this becomes a extension, a loop extension. So if I get on a tree that's too big around for my stand to be there, I can actually feed this through itself just like this, wrap it right through, and now I got myself an extension piece that'll let me get around those trees that are bigger. And it's the same exact quality strap material that was already being used for the stand already anyway. This is an exact replacement of what this is. So it works real good, but it gives, it's multi-use functionality. Instead of being garbage and thrown out, I get to turn it into something that I can use in my benefit. So you want to go through them, set them up. Also in here, you want to make sure that you tape. You'll notice, I'll bring you in closer in here in a second, but I tape, and I did a video on this, how to keep a tree stand quiet. It will show you all these tape points and what you do to keep it quiet. You can watch that video to see details of it, but you want to also go through and recheck those. For example, giving you an example here, I'll spin you so I can see. But if you look at this one right here, let me get by the tripod, but you can see all nice and new tape points on here, so they're going to hold up really well. Here's the one I've been using all last year, frayed and coming apart. I'm going to put more tape around those. I'm not going to take that off, but leave it there, but I'm going to retape right over the top of those points so that they don't get any, so I don't have that noise factor on the tree stand. So you want to do that kind of stuff and make sure, just go through them, make sure everything is good. Now, the hip belt system that I use, I get a ton of people asking about those and where to get them at and where they come from and all that sort of thing. What I do, I got a couple here that I just ordered some new ones, so I will show you, but basically, these are it right here. This is that hip belt, however it comes out of here, but basically you get them, I buy mine right from Amazon. They usually don't have them on Prime, but it's free shipping usually, but basically what you want is you want a hip belt set up like this where you can basically, where it's going to bend around and connect. It's got the buckle set up on there, so it's real sweet, simple setup, but the key is to make sure that it's this type of setup for your strapping so that you can actually feed these through and strap one there and then strap another one will feed through and you strap them in. That way these can lock to your stand wherever you need them to be. So this is what you're looking for, is this type of a setup. On Amazon, I think they were like 10 or 14 bucks a piece. These are not expensive. They're pretty good, high quality. They hold up really well. They got good padding in them. I mean, they're not a Kuyu or a Kafaru hip belt by any means, but man, when it comes to carrying stands and stuff, they make a tremendous difference. So, but those are where you get those from. You can get them, like I said, eBay's where I bought my first few of them. I bought these ones. I found the same ones on Amazon. Like I said, free shipping. They were here in a couple of days, and they're not real expensive. But showing you what those do, if you look at it on here, you can see how that connects on there. Basically, those straps come right up through my stand, just like this. They just fold over right there, and they hold them good. When I step on this, it's not giving me any problems. They're not interfering with nothing. They're no big deal. Same setup with this one on here, same kind of thing. Out of the way, not a problem, and it just makes it really nice and easy to carry. But that's how you mount those. You just run the straps right over two of those just like that. Run them right over, right through your grate of your tree stand. So it's just real sweet, simple, and easy to do to put those on there. So that kind of gives you some stuff to look at and think about. But also another thing you want to check too is going to be your sticks. Every one of your sticks, same kind of concept. You're going to take your sticks that you have and you want to check all the bolts. Make sure they're tight enough here, that they're not too loose. Make sure your steps aren't too loose. Make sure washers are good in there. Make sure your Versa button's good and tight. Make sure your straps are not worn out and don't need to be replaced. If they do, replace them. Go through every aspect of your stands. Make sure everything is top notch. It's tight enough so it's not going to give you fits, and it's going to work like you want. Sorry, I'm sweating a little bit. It's like 90 degrees. It's not literally like 90 degrees today, and it's been miserable, but it's a good day to get these done. I just painted them, took them out and painted them so that they could bake in the sun and bake that paint on. Painting your sticks and your stands is not tremendously important, but what I do it for two reasons. One is I do it because it coats all of the hardware on there and it protects it as far as from rust and things like that too, and they might even be stainless steel, so it might not even be important. Other thing to it is that it hides your stuff a little better from people. So if I do leave a stand out overnight with the intentions of coming back to hunt it the next day, something happens or the wind changes and I choose to hunt a different stand, so I'm not actually on that, going to go back to that stand. If somebody happens to come across it, it's harder for them to find this stand. If I don't leave them painted, you can definitely see the difference and you can find these stands in the woods. So by taking a minute and just doing a little quick, I don't do nothing fancy or pretty on them, just a quick little something to make them blend into a tree better. A little gray, a little brown, a little black, and just a quick once over. But what it does is it helps these hide better. I do the same thing on the stands. If this is all black, it sticks out more. So I take a minute and just kind of touch them up and make them look a little better so that they're hidden. And if they're left out in the woods and I can't get back to it, the odds of somebody finding them are that much harder. They're going to blend in better. So, but like I said, it doesn't, whether you paint them or don't, it don't make any difference. But so that's stand maintenance. Go through this stuff, make sure it's all set up, make sure it's all taken care of, everything's in working order. Safety is important. You're going to wear that harness every single time you're in the woods, going up and down the tree, and you're going to wear it when you're on the tree for sure. So go through, take the time, make sure all this stuff is in order. So there you go. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.